Hey, come chop it up with E.
All green. So we have our brand new co-host.
Yo,
Since we're done with our Ivy project,
I'm
our
now
brand new
I'm now
co-host.
officially the co-host.
Officially the
You
co-host
gonna be
now.
seeing me in every one now.
Every other one now.
Officially.
Officially now. Officially the co-host.
Officially.
And now everybody here we all watch basketball, and we seen the trend on TikTok. Are we really done with the 90s?
Hold
Are we
on, wait,
really
wait, 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 wait. How everybody doing?
okay,
How everybody doing?
How's
How everybody
doing
doing?
right
Good. Phenomenal.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm so relieved I got done with my project, bro.
That's great, man.
I'm the exact same as Mark.
Okay,
I
okay.
noticed everybody in here done been on the podcast before.
Yeah, everybody been on the podcast.
Everybody in here
was
been
on
on
the
it before.
podcast.
Glad to be back, bro. Glad to have you back, bro. I ain't behind the camera no more.
Yeah, bro, ain't behind the camera no more. So, like I was saying, so we seen the TikTok trends.
Yeah.
We seen all that. We're done with the 90s. Michael Jordan had no left air ball, all that. We was playing no defense back in the day. And so I just want to know, because y'all have a strong opinion on
Put the mic up to your mouth.
Y'all had a strong opinion about this, So I just wanted to know how y'all feel about that. Are we really done with the 90s?
A chance to cut the lead down to 11, which is as few as it's been since the first quarter.
All right, we just gonna go down the line. We gonna say yes or no. Then we'll get into discussion. So my answer is no. We're not done with the 90s.
We are not done with the 90s.
I'm about ready to be done with it now.
We are not done with the 90s.
Okay, so what is your argument? What's the
argument?
What's the argument? I didn't know the argument.
Hold on, look. Hey, Mark. So, why you done with the 90s, bro?
Why are you done with the 90s? I need to know.
What's up with the 90s, bro?
What's up with the 90s? Why are they so bad?
In the current day and age, where it's like there's a generally higher level skill game being played.
My bad.
Like nowadays, it's genuinely like it's a higher skill level. Like the dudes in the 90s, they was dominant because they had that one thing in them. They all had that thing, like that dominance, that strength, or that speed, or just like that ability. But like someone in the current day, they could have that, but they will also have like some real skill. And people in the 90s was very talented. They had deep bags, you know what I'm saying? But like, I feel like it was also a lot of not mediocre, but like a lot of worse players in the 90s. Average. I feel like the average player in the 90s is worse. Like, I feel like that's always going to be true. Like, the average player 2020 is going to be worse than the average player 2030, I feel like that's how everything should be. It should get better with time. And that's how I feel about basketball.
That's why you say the 90s. That's why you say the 90s are done with. Okay.
Not yet. They on the chopping block.
They're on the chopping block. Okay. Any thoughts from that?
I'm not done with the 90s. He said basically like how everybody had like one thing about them that made them dominant. And how people now they kind of try to put that together into make one player into like multiple skills into one player. But my thing is certain players I feel like wouldn't even be able to mess with some of the 90 players now, depending on who they are.
Okay. Johnny, you know what I'm saying? You know something, because you the one real basketball player here.
I gotta spit some ball knowledge.
All right, man, let me know something.
All right. So I understand where you're coming from because that's just like the world period. People evolve, of course. Because I will say, like back in the 90s, people didn't take care of their bodies as much and really just use basketball as like a job. Just
Yeah.
like a 9 to 5, then you just going on with your life, get the smoking and drinking. You see Michael Jordan with the cigars. He really didn't work on his body as much. And people in the league, they starting to take it more serious. For example, LeBron, he spend $1 million on his body every year. And of course, people is gonna get better because now you got YouTube, you got all these different platforms where you can learn different type of things. But it's people in the 90s just as good because I understand where you're saying everybody in the 90s had a certain skill to make them predominantly better than everybody else. But what can we say about Mike? Mike could do it all. You feel me? Magic,
What
he
was
could
what
do
was
it all.
LeBron doing? What he doing for $1 million on his body?
Well, I ain't gonna say that I know a lot but you know, just the working out in the facilities and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you seen like the ice chamber where like you be in the ice chamber stuff
Thinking you
like
doing
that.
plastic surgeries or something, bro.
Oh no. Machines like that ain't cheap.
Oh, for sure.
And back then they ain't had none of that. And you still had very good players in the league still. And we wouldn't have the people that we had today with this type of game if it wasn't for the people in the 90s. So I can't just put them off like that. Because a lot of people have Kobe as their GOAT or have him up that high. It wouldn't be a Kobe without Mike.
Real life.
Rattles out. Here comes Bryant ahead of the field. Reverse slam.
Sensational. That's the most frightening thing a defender can see. You be the only guy back on defense, and he's coming.
LeBron James, he said in the interview, he wouldn't be him without Mike. A lot of people base their game on Magic Johnson as being at the point guard or John Stockton. It wouldn't be them without them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, Magic Johnson, he was a beast back in the day. But, like, people now, they took the game and evolved it to, like, where we went past Magic Johnson. People better than Magic Johnson now.
So the thing is now, like, we got way more moves, way more bags now. Like, we got spin move, crossover, tween, and we, you know what I'm saying? We're not. But the thing is, it wasn't as common in the 90s. It wasn't as common as the 90s. And it's because that's what I'm saying. Like, people like Kyrie Irving, we got SGA. I feel like they'll cook people. Some people in the 90s. They'll like, you know what I'm saying? SGA going crazy.
I'm just saying though, like, without the 90s, like, there isn't anything that we know about the modern day NBA. Like, if Michael Jordan didn't do what he was doing in the 90s, people will probably still stick to what they were doing in the 80s and kind of evolve it from there.
So they pioneered the game.
They pioneered the game.
That's a great point. I really agree with that.
Like, if like say, you know, Penny Hardaway, he passed. Everyone was saying he was going to be the next Magic. And so people took what Penny and Magic did and evolved it in the game. And if the 90s wasn't there, then things would stay static. The game wouldn't change. Literally, the rules changed for Michael Jordan. Like, in the 80s, people were getting body slammed and destroyed. Then Michael Jordan said, okay, we need to do something about this. And so the league changed. And so now we have the league we have today where fouls are being called, people are getting ejected. And, like, it wouldn't happen if the 90s wasn't there.
I'll still say even in the 90s, there was still a lot of no calls. Like, me and Stephon, we just went over, like, me, Stephon, Ethan, we went over this video, like, the Pistons, how they played. Yeah, like, how they played against, like, Jordan. We was just looking at that, like, how we was comparing it to LeBron and, like, the way that the game has adjusted to other people rather than back then. Like, we was like, if we saw, like, you saw how the way the Pistons playing. LeBron did the same thing, that same game that we watched, that Boston game. If he was to do that in that time, oh my God, like, he'll have to adjust so much from the way he played now and to be able to play the way back then.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
You want me to go ahead?
You go ahead.
All right, bet. So like I was saying, understand like LeBron, he's soft, right? People say he's soft, but me personally, I really think he's not really soft for real, cause like, there's some people out there that's actually flopping to get the free points. So he was like, okay, let me start doing that now. He was like, let me start doing that now, cause they getting free points off of that. So he was like, let me start doing that. So if LeBron was back in the 90s, I feel like he wouldn't be as much as a flopper now, because he wouldn't, because he wouldn't get the call. So he'll most definitely be cooking those 90s players.
So look, do y'all feel as if players in the 90s will be able to last today?
Or players
like,
today
on some Space Jam type stuff? Like literally like Space Jam, the monsters, the people now.
Like, are we?
The
Is
monsters in Space Jam is just like the people now.
He's
Then
easier-
you got
It's an easier question.
Patrick Ewing, all them. They come to the today's league. You think they going crazy?
So let's switch them. Today's day and age, players will say SGA.
Win for OKC and SGA.
We'll say SGA, Kyrie.
Irving, splits the defense with the dribble.
Anthony.
About it, knocked away by Alexander Walker. Jazz with a turnover. Nasty. I mean, that's all you can say about it.
Edwards, put him in the 90s. And LeBron, put him in the 90s.
Oh my God,
And then
SGA is top 5
And then put
instantly.
Michael Jordan. Who else? Michael Jordan. Go ahead, John.
Okay. I'd bring you a difference between our day and age and in the 90s.
Let me hear it, bro.
Okay. You say SGA would be top 5 in the 90s. I'll give you a reason why he wouldn't. Because, mind you, if you actually watch the full game, SGA gets to the free throw line at least 10 times or more. Luka Doncic, one of the most pro-efficient scorers in the league right now. I ended up watching the game. He went to the free throw line 20 times. And mind you, SGA, he tends to go to the rim. If you're not getting a call, and you know back then it was more of a big man game. So you got Hakeem, Shaq, Patrick Ewing, you got all them Bill Laimbeer down there.
All the big dudes, all the strong.
You really think he's gonna be able to come down there? That's getting swatted. That's
The other way, the Lakers leading it. Chapman comes in deep, all the way
out of there.
He can still get the foul.
But another thing, it's all about adjustment as well. Because there's one thing I will say now, it's a lot of players that's playing in the league that really don't touch the weight room like that.
Yeah.
Because actually, a fun fact, LaMelo Ball, his max bench press is only 170. As an NBA player, and he's 6'8". So, go ahead.
Okay, so I like how you just stated that. Another thing about it, I learned this, like my dad had told me this about Jordan. Jordan lift before every game. And like you said, it was about adjustment. So I feel like he had to adjust to know that he had to be stronger to be going into the rim like people with like Shaq, Hakeem, Dikembe, all those. So out of all the people that you named, the only person I could the only
I feel like
the only person
I feel like
out of that 5 that I agree with you with is Kyrie, because Kyrie played more like a Jason Williams. And y'all saw what Jason Williams was able to do in the 90s.
You miss one, you come right back and take the next one.
Nice fade from Williams.
He was able to, and Kyrie, he was a tough finisher when he needed to be. Like, he can still go in there, with contact. And don't forget, he can still be that knockdown shooter that you need. And back then in the 90s, they weren't shooting like that, and his advanced moves was kind of put something on there. So, like, that's why Jason Williams was able to have the success that he had.
So the thing I want to say is, I feel like, I know you understand, like, Michael Jordan influenced a lot of guys. He influenced a lot of guys. Like Kobe. Kobe basically took Michael Jordan's skill and made it better.
Missed them both. The Lakers get it back. Bryant, Kobe, Butter, tied at 95.
Made it better, right? Anthony Edwards doing the same thing that Michael Jordan does, the fallback, midi shot, right? So saying like Anthony Edwards put him in the 90s, right? With the same bag that he has right now. Like Anthony Edwards right now, right? Is he doing the same thing as he doing right now in the 90s or no?
Hey, Ethan, I feel like it's two things that's gonna decide whether he's doing the same things. Like, first of all, what team he's on, like that's gonna make a big difference. Like a lot of these dudes in the 90s, they had some like Kevin Love on that team.
Go ahead.
A lot of dudes in the 90s, they had pretty stacked teams, and they had like a guy like Jordan. He had some pretty good help on his team,
Okay.
I feel like he would hold his own in the 90s, but he wouldn't dominate off the rip. Like,
Of course not.
Yeah, he would.
Just like what
feel like-
Stephon said, of putting the 90s players in our current day, it would be an adjustment.
It
Because
just
like I told you, people have a different outlook on the game.
It is two different it is two different games at that.
Exactly.
Can I say something real quick though? I feel like along with the 90s, it became like a snowball effect. Like 2010s, 2000, it like snowballed into today's current basketball. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's also too.
I got a question for y'all. The reason why people are saying we're done with the 90s and all that Michael Jordan had no bag, and Michael Jordan had no left, and that they were playing barely any defense. Is that true?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's not even close.
I will break it down to you right now, because all they did was put the full game, watch the full game, and choose the bad highlights out of what he did. You can do that with any great player, because people just think, oh, because he's Michael Jordan, that no mistakes is going to happen. You can do the same thing to LeBron James, which is debatably the GOAT. Steph Curry, he just had a game against the Boston Celtics. He went 0 for 9 at the three-point line. You could just put those same highlights and put a little turnover when he lost the ball and just say, oh, we're done with the 2010s. Right. Then it would just be sounding crazy, right?
Exactly.
That's the same way the old heads is reacting right now, because that's who they grew up watching. You feel what I'm saying? And Michael Jordan indeed did have a bag. But people just think a bag is like Kyrie doing flashy moves and all that. Everybody's bag is different.
Exactly.
Michael Jordan didn't have all these moves. It was always a 1-2 dribble, pull up, or he going to the rim to dunk on you. And that's what he did. And you say he don't have a lift? Even so, if he didn't have a lift, they couldn't stop him going right anyway. And it's no way he would have never got that far if he didn't have a lift in the first place. And you can go watch the games. He was going left, and they couldn't stop him. Michael Jordan was just an unstoppable beast, and that's why they respect him like that.
Exactly, because like if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it. If you're going left, if you're going right, and nobody's deciding to, hey, let's stop this guy, then don't do anything different. Because then if you do something different, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, so now we can try to do different things. Just stick to what your game is. That's what people are doing now. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Joel Embiid,
Steph Curry.
If every single one of these players today are doing what players in the 90s did. They stuck to their game, what they're comfortable with. Like if you're bad at 3 points, don't try to do a 3-pointer during the game. Practice that, adjust to that, and then maybe in a game you could try to shoot threes.
Exactly.
You need to You need to stick with your game. Giannis, he's improved at the free throw line. Because a few years ago, it was abysmal. It was abysmal. It was terrible. Exactly. That's worse than Shaq. So like, but now he can actually shoot from the from the free throw line because he practiced it. Exactly.
Now he pulled like 1 or 2 3-pointers a game.
Exactly.
People don't even pay attention to that.
Because he adjusted his game in the back, came up to the game, and was like, okay, I feel comfortable now. Let's try to do it in game. And it worked.
What I'm saying, when you pull people from this decade or the past decade and swap them, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you're a good player, you know adjustment is going to happen. And when you adjust, you're going to be good still.
Okay, so do y'all feel like the competition in the 90s was less competitive?
No, opposite. I think it's more competitive. Opposite. Everybody was competitive by the end. Everybody wanted to be that top dog. Like I'm gonna take this Kobe example. Like everybody heard about this. He told this story, but Jordan told him first. You could wear the shoes, but you could never fill them in. You'll fulfill them. And the next game after that, 55. And you think you can't tell me that ain't competitiveness, or even the story. No, it wasn't. Mike wasn't. Mike retired in what?
2003. That was in the 90s. Kobe got drafted.
Kobe 98.
He was playing for the Wizards.
Yeah. And also, I'm gonna say this: even when the story where he said he was working out with the Philadelphia 76ers. They told him, he asked, like, was his light guard Mike? They was like, oh, Black Cat? It was the Black Jesus? Like who?
Jordan has come up with another steal.
I'm calling Mike. Like, I ain't calling him that. I'm calling him by his name. And he was like, when I go against him, we gonna go at it. And that's exactly what he did. Like, the competitiveness, like, he wanted to bring was that.
Way more grit.
Hey, I would agree with that. The 90s did have a lot more competitive nature than today's game, honestly. That's just a
I would
fact.
say, yes.
And like,
Oh, go ahead.
like I noticed like over the past few decades, scoring's gone up too. Like we went from like 80, 90 point games to averaging 127 points per game and 200 points in an all-star game. Like
crazy.
That
Defense
is
has became less of a priority. A lot of people say in the 90s you were playing against plumbers and this and that. But if you pay attention really in reality in the lineup now, it's a lot of people in the league that shouldn't be in the league. Exactly. It's a lot of people in the league. Actually, a lot of these superstars in the league don't play defense.
Exactly.
To be honest with you. And back then, since it was so much competitiveness to be great and it was less foul calls, that means even if it's not good defense or not, they're still fouling you in the calls. The call is not being called, like the foul call is not being called, so it's going to look like good defense. So they're not going to let you score.
Exactly.
And now since it's foul calls and it's already not good defense, it's like Luka just going to come down and pull it. You just going to do this. And I feel like the game is different because of fear. It's a lot of fear in the game. I'll break it down to you. I don't know if y'all seen it. Allen Iverson, he said that he couldn't go left. The only thing he could do with his left side was cross over with his left. And people knew that. But the only reason why he was so dominant is because you're scared. You scared to guard him. This is like Michael Jordan. They literally calling him Black Jesus. I really want you to think about that. You calling another man that bleed how you bleed, calling him Jesus. As soon as they see him, they getting nervous. They like, oh, I'm about to play against Michael Jordan. That's going to affect your performance.
It's a mental game.
It's a mental game.
So, mentioning fear, right? So, I was listening to the big podcast, Shaq podcast. You know what he said? He said that the first time he played Michael Jordan, he was terrified. He was terrified to play against Michael Jordan. And so that really like, and then
Shaq, by the way.
Shaq,
big, 7'1"
big
Shaq with muscle.
One of the most dominant players to ever play basketball.
Feared one man.
Feared Michael Jordan. But the thing was that caught me off guard. So I agree when he said people fear Michael Jordan. But he also said people did not fear LeBron at all.
Yeah, I feel like today it's the opposite. Like, now LeBron, he got a target on his back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people like, you know, that like go out of their way to like perform better just because he's LeBron, you know?
Yeah, so go ahead, Jerome.
So I feel like it's the opposite.
I feel like more now because people not scared of LeBron because like they've been inspired by the players in the 90s because they saw like I can't go in here. I'm gonna be scared like this. I'm not about to go in here. Like, was Kobe scared of Jordan? Not at all. So a lot of people he was excited. Like, so the mentality that he brought on to others, like they told him, they basically just told in their minds, I'm not about to go in here scared. Like, it was even another story from Jason Williams. He played Jordan when he was 38 in the last year, I believe. He said, oh, my A word. He was like, the best player he played against was LeBron. If he played against Jordan, it would be a slaughter. That game, he had 54. So he was like, oh, he had 31 at halftime, actually. Ended up with 54.
Talk about Jason Williams.
He said, oh, my A word. That's what he said.
One thing I will tell you, speaking of mentality, it just sparked a thought in my head. The mentality back then, just like I told you, they might have been scared, but at the end of the day, they ain't just gonna let Jordan get no bucket. They ain't gonna let no superstar just get a bucket. And now the mentality is just so different because I done heard so many stories from Kevin Garnett, Kobe, LeBron, just talking about people on their team. Like, some people just do this just to do this. It's not to be great. Some people just use it like I said, a job. Like, you just come here, get a little reps in or whatever, and just leave.
Yo,
No, I'm being serious. You can look this up on the internet. Like, people in the NBA have a very different mindset than when it was back then because now it's so many other ways to be good in life that just be set in life. And back then, people, this is their only route. Like,
exactly.
especially back then, the crime rate was ridiculous. Drugs. Michael Jordan was talking about his rookie year. People on his team was doing drugs in the locker room before the game. Like, back then, it was just so much going on. And now, you just do the smallest thing, you getting kicked out. So it's less of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Less of a consequence for stuff. And plus, now people, they don't really care about if they get in the game. They know, say you got Luka on your team and you're a rookie. It's like, oh, yeah. I'm getting paid regardless. I can sit down here and just clap my hands and watch Luka drop 70.
Exactly. The Nasus Antetokounmpo.
Right. I don't care. I'm still getting paid. That's exactly how people think.
Exactly.
I'm still getting paid. I'm just going to clap my hands and I'm on by my way. That's how people think. And back then, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, bro. The work ethic in a drive, it's not there no more. It's not there.
So the thing is, like, we still got some of them young guys that want to be great, you know. Yeah. Still young guys that want to be great. Say for example, we got Anthony Edwards he want to be shoot. He talking about he can beat Jordan. He talking about Jordan can't guard him. He confident. He basically is a young Michael Jordan.
There have been very few in-game dunks that have looked like that.
Put that on a post.
He basically a young Michael Jordan.
He plays just like a rookie.
Exactly. And then we also got SGA. He wants to be great as well. He dropping 31 points every game. Yes. Basically 31 points every game.
Let's talk about John Morant.
Pick and roll. Morant. Oh, my word. Holy cow.
Look at this. Jackhammer. Look how far back he cocks it. Look at throw it back to the free throw line and then come back and put it down. Morant.
Let's talk about John Morant.
Okay. So, you know, everyone know out there that John Morant is one of my favorite players currently, okay? One of my favorite players, all right? First to, above Anthony Edwards in my opinion. No, not saying like in my chart, in my favorite player list, not saying like skill-wise. I know Anthony Edwards better skill-wise, but I like John Morant better, in my opinion. But, thing is, he needs to stop being a thug. Okay?
Exactly. Like you're getting paid millions of dollars to dribble a ball on a court and get it in a net. What are you doing trying to be tough? Like you're making millions of dollars. What are you doing, bro?
I feel like if John Morant more focused on basketball, he'll be a superstar.
He's got a daughter.
I mean, honestly, after his little situation, after the suspension, it was a big difference in Ja. I will say. Before he got injured, he was locked in. Actually, deleted his socials and everything. He was locked in. He was doing great, and then his arm got messed up. Yeah. But it's one thing I will say now. Speaking from what was happening in my personal life, I don't know if y'all heard a popular basketball player in the city. His name's Terrence Coker. That's my cousin. Just got killed recently. Very good basketball player. Carried his team all the way to the districts and won at Henry Ford, then transferred to Davidson. And he had, the older he got, like my family and his friends seen him change, like from being focused on basketball to start to lead into the streets a little bit. That Detroit mental, that Detroit lifestyle, and that's just acting like a thug. And that's not good for you. The streets is not something you want to get into because you're not gonna get nowhere with that. Your life gonna get messed up or it's gonna get taken away. And just from the Ja Morant situation, him wanting to be tough, showing the gun, that's all cool and stuff. But at the end of the day, you still have a life. You actually have a daughter, and she's seeing this. She's seeing your dad in her predicament. She like, oh, my dad got a gun, and he can't play in the NBA no more, and that can affect your life permanently.
Exactly. Like I got a friend.
That's very much crazy.
Come on, man.
My bad.
That Ja Morant. Come on.
Chill.
He got a knee injury now, bro. He out for the season.
No, shoulder.
He's not. Nah, you thinking like he Aaron
You're not
Rodgers,
gonna see him
bro.
till
It's
next
not
year.
happening.
He gonna be back next year. I hope he's straight, bro. I hope not like D Rose, man.
D Rose was like,
Okay, before we get to D Rose, I wanna talk about Ja's skill because I like how you was just talking about the '90s. To be honest, I see Ja in like the same way as '90s because the way that he plays, he played like I just told Ethan and Stefan as we watching highlights. I was like, watch this. He about to use this screen, split the two, floater or a layup. Thing about it is, y'all say like how Jordan couldn't use left, but when he went right, they couldn't stop him. So it's like the same thing with Ja. Soon as he split the two, or spin move or whatever. As soon as he split and get away from that screen, he gonna lay it up.
Well, he can still shoot that though. He can still shoot behind the screen.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, like again, he wasn't a shooter. Mike wasn't no shooter either.
when he wanted, when he wanted to shoot.
When he
though.
wanted to.
That's the thing about Mike.
Mike didn't have to shoot.
Exactly.
Stop him going to the wreck. So why would he have to?
If it ain't broke, don't
like
fix it.
reporters were saying, like, oh, he can't shoot the three. One game he shot multiple threes, and they was quiet for the rest of his
They
career.
said he couldn't shoot, but when he got matched up against Clyde Drexler in the playoffs, he had 7 threes in the game.
No, I think that was the finals.
That was finals.
In the NBA finals.
So that's why I said that. Ja Morant is not better than Anthony Edwards. Okay, Anthony Edwards has a way bigger bag, way more options than what Ja Morant got. He got the screen into the finish, screen into the split or spin move into the finish or three.
Anthony Edwards can have more options, just like you said, just in case somebody is playing good defense. I don't know if y'all watched the game between the Timberwolves and the Clippers.
Yeah.
He had Paul George matched up on him. 6'8", 230 pounds. Playing good defense, but just because Anthony Edwards had the strength, he was able to open him up and do the turnaround fade just like Jordan. Yeah. Because I'm not going to say Jordan was just like killing people. Some people was actually playing good defense, but just because he practiced that shot and had the strength to be able to operate like that, that's the reason why he was able to be so great. And speaking of that, just because we on the 90s and current day topic, who do y'all think is y'all top 10 all time? Because personally, what I say is I get so offended when somebody say we're done with the 90s because, okay. All right, let me put it in an instance like this, though. We going to do top 5, but top 10, right? I can guarantee you going to at least list 3 to 5 90s, people that played in the 90s in your top 10 all time.
Yeah, for sure.
And people want to say, "Oh, we're done with the 90s. We're done with the 90s." You gonna list Kobe? Ain't no Kobe without Jordan. And you're not go. There's no way in the world you're not gonna put Jordan in your top 3.
Yeah, there's no way in the world. You're not gonna put Shaq in your top 10.
You gonna have to put Shaq in there. You got to put Magic in there. You got to put Bird in there. How many is that? What, 4? That's 4 already. Then you're gonna have to say Kareem too, or you might be able to put a little Kareem in there. Some people like to say Wilt because of the 100 points.
Some people might say Larry, and he was in the 90s a little bit.
Some people might want to be different. Even name people like Karl Malone, Dominique Wilkins, like stuff like that. So, like
you can't avoid it. You can't avoid it.
Yeah.
Hey, so
Yeah.
Hey, we straight. Hey, we straight. I got Dr. Brown. Yeah, we gonna remember that. No, we don't got no pizza today, man.
Pizza day.
We got pizza.
Yeah, but so exactly. So I was on TikTok today, before I got here, right? There's this theory going around with Victor Wembanyama. They was saying like if you do something great against Victor, you're gonna get hurt. They said when Joel dropped his 70 points on Victor, he got his torn meniscus, and then Ja Morant when he dunked around the rim grazer on Victor.
Spurs to one field goal attempt.
Ja again dunks it
You said that.
He did not dunk around him.
I'm just.
a rim grazer.
I'm gonna say he dunked. I'm gonna say he dunked over him. No,
He dunked on him.
I'm not gonna say. I'm not.
He was saying it's a rim grazer. I'm just saying
like right here.
But when
I'm not gonna say dunk on him, but I'm gonna definitely say he dunked over him. Like, it was still a head tap.
it's a rim grazer.
I'm
just saying. I think.
I don't feel like you should even mention the rim grazing point because at the end of the day, you dunking on an 8'1" wingspan,
Exactly.
and he jumped up too, so that's practically the rim.
2 hands bro, on a.
I'm gonna say he dunked over. I'm not gonna say he dunked on him, but I know
Did dunk on him though?
Trey Jackson,
Trey
Dave,
Jackson.
Trey. I was. That's literally that's it.
One more bucket or one more stop. Trace Jackson Davis. Oh! He put the entire country of France in the basket.
Exactly what I was about to say, because I don't like it.
he dunked on him.
Because I was about to say I don't like the way you said that because he just did that the other day, and I'm like, oh my god.
To Victor Wembanyama, they've been getting hurt.
I'm just
literally.
Joel with the torn meniscus, Ja Morant with the shoulder injury.
And I hate how you just said that because Trace Jackson Davis is actually real tough this year.
Bro, I got like a hypothetical question. All right, let's say Ja was playing, right? Okay. If Ja and Anthony Edwards switch teams right now, like, how would you say their career is going?
Tough.
How would
Without the gun?
without Rudy
like it would be the same.
without Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, to be straight.
I don't even want to go to Gobert. I'll go to Cat.
Because Ja and Anthony Edwards, they both like the main players on their team. So like, if they switch, it's gonna
They
be
both
the same
gonna
way.
hoop.
I'll tell you why it'd be the exact same. Because Ja Morant playing with Jaren Jackson Jr., which is a two-way stretch, basically. He can shoot and he can play defense. Yeah, defensive player of the year. You get in the same predicament with Cat. Cat might not be able to play as much defense, but he can shoot as well. So Ja Morant is still exactly. And so basically Ja Morant is basically going to be put in the same predicament. He can ISO what he wants to and can throw it to a big that can knock down a shot. And Anthony Edwards is still going to get put in the team where he's still going to have to be the man to score. But I think Ja might win more just because Cat has more of a scoring ability than Jaren Jackson. Cat be scoring like 30 points. I mean, we seen him. He had a heat check, bro. Like made like what, like 7 threes, bro. Didn't miss. That's pretty crazy to be a 7'1" big man, bro. If you ask me. So I feel like in the end, Ja might have a better.
I'm gonna say he only say compared like their team will be able to. He will be able to win more with that team, more like Anthony Edwards.
Less reliance.
Like it's less reliance because you got two offensive threats, Cat and Ja. Then you got a defensive threat with Rudy Gobert in the paint. So obviously them two not the best at defense, but again, one thing they will be able to rely on. Yeah, they'll be.
Don't get that board.
They can definitely rely on Rudy's defense to push them on offense. So it'll make it less reliant.
But the thing is, with Anthony Edwards, I feel like he can open up more for himself. So that's why I feel like it will be the same. He'll open up more for himself to score.
But the thing about it is gonna make it a little harder now for him because
Rudy gonna be right down there in the paint.
yeah, it's gonna make it harder now for him. The only because, like I said, Ant has Rudy and what's his name, so they can put that in the same text that I just put in Ja. Now you only have Jaren Jack. Now you also the thing about it is now you got more defense for the perimeter with Desmond Bain. Marcus Smart. So like when you put them two, he will have to become more of an offense type guy. Like, cause thing about it is I like Memphis because the way how they able, each one of them know how to win and how to eat. Like Desmond know whenever Ja not in, he gotta be that guy. Or Jaren, it might work the same way for Jaren Jack. Whenever I'm a scoot over. Whenever Jaren Jack, they'll be worked the same way, but ain't always gonna be the offensive player.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? We figured out that part one.
I like this talk.
This is part one. We had a great talk, with our new co-host, official co-host. You know what I'm saying? Stephon. Shout out to him. And good talk. So we're not done with the 90s.